Hello, my friends. Little Lisa here, ready to give you the synopsis for day 7 of the Baldwin shooting trial. As I told you in the last clip, Sarah Zachary was on the stand yesterday, but her testimony continued into day 7. And shocker of all shockers, she actually had been a trained armor for one other movie set. The guy who supplied props to the set of Rust, owner of PDQ Props, Seth Kenny, he trained her on like very specific weapons so she could fill in as an armor for like a couple days in a previous movie. So she did that. She will admit to you, she has never shot a gun before. She doesn't even own guns. But somehow she got put on the set to fill in when they needed an armor. Seth Kenny's the one that got her this job. He's the one that referred her. It is shocking to me, you guys, at like how little you have to know to be an armor. It's literally word of mouth. You don't have any oversight, no certifications you have to get that are, mandatory. You just have to follow certain safety guidelines, but that's, obviously nobody's monitoring that. So it's been pretty shocking over time to hear these people talk about that, yes, they knew armors in the past had done things a certain way, but truly anybody could do it. She did assist in loading guns with Hannah and for Hannah to help out because she was the only armor and there were a lot of weapons for the set. And, supposedly she had some experience before, but she even said like with one of these single action revolvers, she had never actually like loaded it before. So Hannah had to show her how to do that. So it's the blind lady and the blind around there on that movie. She said Hannah was difficult to work with. She said she had previously wanted to fire her from props because she wasn't, again, pulling her weight. She would say that she was doing things for armor duty, but she would kind of lock herself up in the prop truck and say she was cleaning weapons and just, everybody else was running around doing stuff and she wasn't. Like she was getting, collecting the money, not doing anything. And so the day of the shooting, Sarah had loaded the guns for Jensen Ackles and somebody she called Sven, or like, I had to look at it again, but it was Sven. So anyway, she loaded those guns. She gave them to those actors. She said she never loaded Alec's guns. So anybody that's ever said that, she never loaded the revolver for Alec or his rifle. That was always Hannah, and Alec would always call for Hannah to help him whenever it had to do with, props or weapons on set. She did admit that things were left out during the day, that they didn't lock things up. In the beginning, they did. They would lock things up in the prop, weapons up in the prop trailer. But it kind of got loosey-goosey after a while, and they were leaving things out in the car, different ammo everywhere, stuff like that. She also says that after the shooting, she's the one that unloaded Jensen Ackles' gun and Sven's gun. And then she threw the blanks or, dummy bullets away, and she didn't tell anyone. And then later she confessed that she had thrown away that evidence. Defense was trying to get her to say that Seth Kenny told her to do it because they had had a phone call right after the shooting. She said no, he never directed her to do that. She basically just told him, hey, this accident just happened. She said they were only on the phone for about 30 seconds. She just told him, oh my gosh, emergency. And then he called her back, and then she told him that there had been a shooting. They were both freaking out, and that was it. Okay, next on the stand was Joel Souza, the director, the one that actually got shot in the shoulder. He was standing right behind Helena Hutchins during the shooting. He was trying to look into the monitor from the camera that she was looking through because Video Village was down because the camera crew had quit. They didn't have all the monitors that they usually have up. They didn't have the setup they usually do. So he was actually like peering over her shoulder, and that's how he got hit in the shoulder when she got shot during that, when they were blocking off that scene. Now, he did say that he was so busy he didn't pay attention to what Hannah was doing. He did hire her, though. He's the one that interviewed her and brought her on. He knew her stepfather had a great reputation with weapons, and so he kind of took that word and he had her do, a couple Zoom calls and things like that to see about her skills. But he liked her, and so they hired her on. He gave really touching testimony about Helena Hutchins and how he was such a fan of her work. That's why he wanted her to be cinematographer on his film. And this was his first Western. And so it just breaks his heart that this tragedy happened on something that he was so excited to work on with Helena. Now, he's the first person to bring it up today, but he would know better than anyone what was supposed to be filmed that day. So they did ask him, did Alec need a dummied up gun for this scene at all? Wasn't this supposed to be a scene where it was just going to be him like pretending to hold a weapon or holding a weapon, but you don't need to see the bullets and you don't need any kind of action to happen? And Joel Souza said, yes, that's correct. The scene was supposed to just be him with his hand on the weapon in the holster, like he was ready to engage, but wasn't actually supposed to take any action with that gun. So why did he draw it? Why was he drawing that? And better yet, why was Hannah putting any bullets in there if there was no action needed? Next up was Emery Chacon. He was the front desk clerk at the hotel. I kid you not. And he tried to hook up with Hannah. But it was really kind of embarrassing. They kind of were like, did she basically ghost you? And he was like, yes. It was really sad. But what he testified to was that he had gone in her room and he had seen loose ammo hanging out in her actual hotel room. So why is it there? Why is it not in the prop truck? Why is it not secured? He said different caliber bullets too. He does know weapons-ish. And so he was just like, I just saw a bunch of like some out, some in boxes, but it was weird that she had ammo just hanging out in her room. Next, we had Wyatt Morrison. He was a wrangler of the horses and animals on the set. And he had worked with a lot of armors, so he testified basically that the practices that Hannah was doing were unsafe, very disorganized. Usually she would leave the weapon with the actor to just play around with after a scene was taken instead of immediately collecting it back up, not doing safety checks, all the stuff that we've heard already. The most pivotal testimony came from Sherilyn Schaefer. She was the medic on the set. She was the first person to attend to Helena Hutchins, and she tried to help with Joel Souza, but she had to end up calling a guy that she knew on set, had been a combat medic, had been in the military, so she had him attend to Joel, and then she attended to Helena. But she also said that she had seen unsafe practices from Hannah, things she had never seen from an armorer before. The cart looked like a mess. Very disorganized. She said that one day she even saw that she called over to Sarah Zachary to bring her boxes of ammo, and she would dump the boxes of ammo, literally just dump them into her fanny pack. All different caliber, all different types of things, blanks, dummies, whatever, just a mishmash in that fanny pack. Also leaving weapons around all the time on set, unsecured, very common. And they tried to tear her apart because apparently she had done a civil lawsuit against Hannah and Dave Halls and PDQ Props. And so they were saying, are you is this going to look good for you for your civil lawsuit? Is this why you're here? And she said, no, actually I'm here because I really want something to change in this industry. There's no reason why, literal amateurs with no supervision should be out being armorers. There should be more protocol for that. But also she was saying that as a medic, in order to get a second medic on the set, you'd have to have over 300 crew and cast. And so because this was a smaller film, even though she had a lot of people on set, she was the only one that was allowed to be there and with minimal supplies. And so she was saying, if we have weapons on set, we should have a lot more medics and a lot more equipment. I want things to change in this industry. So you go, Sherilyn, you kick. And I love that she got that testimony in there. The poor thing was traumatized that day, hella PTSD. She did her best. She's not the one that intubated, by the way, but she did her best, and she feels responsible. She feels bad that Helena did not make it, but she did everything she could. She was heartbroken. The last person that testified was Mamie Mitchell, the script supervisor. And probably she also said the same things, leaving weapons around and stuff like that. But her main thing was, in the script, it only called for Alec to hold the gun. So again, somebody saying he didn't need to fire.